Hey guys, so I'm in Brazil. I'm in the south of Brazil at the moment, in an island just off of the continent of Brazil itself, called Florianopolis. It's so bloody beautiful. It's also very, very hot, and the time right now is 4:48, so it's a little bit in the afternoon, but it's really hot still. And I'm sorry if I'm fidgeting a lot during this video, but I'm in a very beautiful place. Have a look at this. So beautiful. It's like a jungle out there, and over that mountain is the beach actually. So I'm currently sitting in my little room, the room that's housing me for the next however long I stay in this beautiful town. But anyway, before we get off topic, I have been traveling now for 8 months around the very large globe actually. Sometimes it feels little because I don't know, it just feels like home everywhere I go. But I have been contemplating making this video for so long, unfortunately, because I don't know what I was thinking, but every time I travel I constantly think, wow, that was such a good idea, or like, wow, I will never do that again, or wow, that made things so much easier whenever I'm like having some sort of like human experience while traveling. And sometimes I write them down in my book and I'm like, I need to make note of this and like tell someone else that's traveling to help them if they don't already know about this little travel hack. So I've made a list, a very, very big list of really, really useful travel hacks, and some of them are really simple as well. So I'm going to mention them in this video. But the one thing is, the reason that I have contemplated making this video for so long is because I was thinking, how do I make one video about this? It's going to go for like 20 hours and nobody's going to want to watch a video for 20 hours, and I don't think I'm going to want to make a video that goes for 20 hours either. Until today, when I woke up and I had this like epiphany and like this really awesome realization that I don't have to make one video. I can make it all different separate little videos and then make like a series, because that's kind of a really cool concept that I never even realized and I didn't even think of. So here we go. We're going to make some videos. Today I'm going to make the first part of the series of travel hacks, Janika's travel hacks. I don't know, actually they're probably very simple, some of them, but just really random things that I've kind of learnt along the way. And I am gonna get started right now. Also, after the 8 months of me traveling, I felt like I had finally had like enough experience to like see whether or not these travel hacks will actually be of an advantage to anybody. And now I feel like, you know, I'm kind of proud. I've come across some really cool little hacks. So let's go. And hopefully my camera doesn't die, because I'm a little bit of a noob with this kind of like technology thing, and it died before, so I had to remake it. So here we go. It's like take 5. But okay, number one, it's the best, one of my favorite things. Travel and stay in hostels. Please, people, if you're traveling solo or if you're traveling at all, stay in hostels. If you're trying to be like on a budget, they're really good. The quality of hostels these days are so good. Just check the reviews, check the photos, and like, Bob's your uncle, everything will be good. I've stayed in hostels almost the whole time. Like, I never stayed in hotels or anything like that. I stayed once in a hotel when I was in Turkey, and it was by complete like accident, but that's a different story. But hostels, people, they are so much cheaper. You can get hostels for as little as like $2 a night. In India I had some hostels for $2. I think the most I've paid for a hostel was like $15, and it was like nothing. Hostels are really good because they bring a lot of people into one space. You can share a dorm with mixed dorms. We've got female dorms, big dorms, small dorms. There's always different options. Maybe your dorm will have 4 beds, 8 beds, 16 beds, 12 beds. Maybe it'll be all boys, all girls, mixed, it doesn't matter. You can choose, and that's the exciting part. You can choose, and it brings all different people from all walks of life, all around the world, into one place, one space, and you can meet people, make a lot of friends, and have some really, really good human interaction, conversations, and learn a lot about the world. Let's just say that. Number 2. is if you're staying at a hostel and that hostel happens to serve breakfast, make sure you take note. Don't miss the breakfast. Be there on time. Show up for your breakfast. Completely fill yourself so you're sustained for until the next meal, until the afternoon. And then that makes you be able to save money. You don't have to buy breakfast. You don't have to buy like maybe an morning tea or something. You can just be satisfied with what you've had for breakfast. Make the most of the breakfast. With that, I have had situations where I've met people, and I do it myself as well. Depending on how good the breakfast is, depending on your plans for that day, take a container to breakfast. Trust me, no one's going to judge you. I know it seems really like stingy, but it's the life, okay? No one has ever said anything to me, but I take a container to breakfast. I'll put some fruit or some bread and make a sandwich and some rice and curry, depending on what place you are in the world. Just put it in the container. No one's gonna say anything. It's a free buffet breakfast. Take it and use it for lunch. Use it for dinner. Use it for the next meal that you don't want to have to pay for, okay? You'll thank me later. You're gonna save some money. Next one is, oh yeah, this is so random, but take a deck of cards with you wherever you go in your carry-on. Take some cards. If you're going to be in hostels, if you're going to be meeting people and you're solo, cards are a really fun way to meet people, and you can exchange games. I don't know, maybe some people don't like card games, but maybe there's some other thing you can replace with cards. But take something that's gonna, like, you know, allow people to like interact and have a good time, because I've met so many people over card games, because you see them and you're like, hey, you don't really know, like maybe sometimes the dorm is like not vibing and you're like, hey, want to play cards? And you meet someone and then friendships blossom, and you never know what will happen. Maybe you'll travel with that person to the next location. Who knows? Next tip, take headphones with you almost everywhere. So this can be for a number of reasons. I love having my music in my ears, because sometimes you just want to like listen to your favorite beats. Maybe you're like traveling and you're in transit and you have like your backpack on and your front pack on, whatever you have on, and it's like a big deal. You're like kind of in pain, or like you've got to go a long way, and if you have music in your ears, it can kind of distract you from that whole like painful situation, and you know, vibes like lifts the vibrational energy of the moment that you're living in at that time. So headphones, it's really important, I think, to carry headphones, have music downloaded as well. The other thing is with the headphones, if you don't want to be distracted, or if you don't want to be distracted by like external sources, like people stopping you in the street and asking you if you want a taxi and asking you to buy their fruit or their new t-shirts that they have for sale in the markets. If you have your headphones, then you don't really have to feel so rude when you don't reply to them. Sometimes I'm in the streets and the markets when I was in India, and I just didn't want to be pestered. I just wanted to walk through the market and get from one side to the other in a short period of time. I didn't want to have to stop and feel like I had to talk to them, and I just put my headphones in. I know it sounds really rude and kind of like, I don't know, silly, but trust me, it helps. If you feel like you're sometimes like in an awkward situation and like there's lots of people around and you feel like you're on your own, put your headphones in. There doesn't even have to be music playing. It just kind of gives you that like closure, that you don't have to talk to everybody that you walk past, and you never have to anyway, but it's just a little travel hack. It makes it a little bit more simple, but it's, of course, this is kind of, obviously you don't have to do this, but headphones are good, and who doesn't like music? So whatever. Next one will be this is kind of related to the hostel thing, but when you are booking hostels, Google the final hostel that you choose to stay in. Google it before you make the confirmation, like the booking confirmation. Google the name of the hostel that you want to be in, and on the right hand side of Google, it will come up with the options of which websites you can actually book that hostel through. For example, bookings.com, Agoda, Hostel World. It will come up and it will actually give you the price list of what is the rate for the hostel on each website. So of course, just select whichever one is the cheapest, and then make that confirmation, and then you save some money there. That's another good one. I really recommend avoiding tours. Actually, I know this might be like a little bit hard for some people to hear. Obviously tours have their like time and place. If you want to go somewhere and you don't have all day and you want to see as much things as possible and you don't really want to organize things. I get it, there's those kinds of people, but for me, if you ask me what are my travel hacks and how to save money on a budget, do not go and sign up for these big industry companies, big tours. No, it's like gonna suck your money. Like literally, I have done one. It wasn't a bad experience, of course it was great, but I spent the same amount of money on that tour for 1 month that I spent in like the whole 4 months of I spent like 6 months in India, and I did 20 days of a tour, and I literally spent like the same amount in 1 month at that tour that I could have spent in 4 months in India. And like that just makes me really recognize the amount of money that I can save by avoiding the tour situation. Although if you do want to see the same kind of things, you can definitely organize your own tours. Like that's so fun. Like it's the best thing about traveling is that you have control of your own like agenda kind of thing. Look at the buses, look at the places that the tour goes. It most likely will go to the most like famous places, and if you want to see that, you can get an idea of the outline of your trip if you have like a short period of time and you want to see what the tour would see. Yeah, you can check out the tours and help it like allow it to help you organize your trip, like give it a kind of a structure. But if you do want to do some kind of tour, I really recommend walking tours. Almost every city has free walking tours that are donation based. So someone might promote this on TripAdvisor, or you can just Google, and there might be some other websites. I'm not really up on it too much, but I've heard a lot about it and a lot of like success stories on the walking tours. Basically you just show up, and at the end you give what you think it deserves. You don't even have to give anything if you don't want to donate the money to the guide, sorry. But they walk you around the city. They just give you a quick tour. It's really good if you're only in that city for like a few maybe hours or 1 day, or just a short period of time, because you can see something and it makes you feel like you've seen something in that place, and you don't really have to like leave the place feeling like you haven't seen anything, if that makes sense. So the walking tours, they're very, very good. In most places, just check the reviews, because you never know, some of them can be random. Another thing is travel overland. So if you're traveling in some kind of like long-term style, I recommend traveling overland. Avoid airplanes, because the airplanes can be like 5 times more, 10 times more expensive than if you just take a bus. And in my opinion, the buses are so much nicer, like such a more interesting experience than an airplane. Like I've had a lot of experiences in India with the buses, and Turkey with buses, and even Brazil now. But in India was completely different to like Turkey, and Turkey is completely different to Brazil. So everything that you get in every country will be different. You don't have any expectations for any places. For example, India, they had holes in the floors. They had chairs that had holes in them, and children crying, and I was holding chickens, and like I had to hold live animals and babies, and people were like here, and it's a very big experience. You have to be very kind of like thick-skinned sometimes in some situations, but it's so funny. You just have to kind of like laugh at your life when these things happen. But I recommend taking like traveling on the land to get somewhere. Like if you can avoid airplanes. For example, coming to Florianopolis from Sao Paulo, it cost me like $28 Australian, and if I took an airplane it would have cost me like 150. It took me like 11 hours to get here, but I saw the whole countryside. I had a really comfortable chair. I met a really cool fellow traveler next to me as well. You can look out the window, it stops and you can stretch your legs halfway. I don't know, it's just such a cool like slow motion experience. It takes a little bit more time, but you get to see the countryside. It's like a free tour. Just look out the window and you get to see so much. If you're in the airplane, you just see the clouds, which is beautiful, but like take the buses. And another one is, oh, this is a good one. There's this website called Rome to Rio. So in regards to the traveling overland, if you go on to RomeToRio.com, you can put in like your like to and from, where you want to go and we're coming from to go there. Sorry, that was very difficult way to explain that. But for example, if I wanted to come to if in India, if I wanted to go from the north to the south, it would give me all the options of how I could get there and the prices approximately. So for example, I might try and give some examples on the screen, but it'll ask you for the places you're coming from and going to, and then it will give you like, maybe you'll have a bus and then direct. Maybe you can take a bus and then halfway stop and take the train. Maybe you can take a taxi, and it'll give you the prices for the taxis, and it'll give you the prices for the petrol if you're going to take a car there directly, and how much it will cost by car, and maybe even an Uber, or like it'll give you the plane ticket as well. So it gives you the options of the approximate price and the other options as well, you know. So I think that's really cool, because sometimes I had no idea how to get from one place to the other and what was the most convenient way and how many hours it will take me, and this website just does it all for you. Oh yeah, make sure that you put your phone on flight mode if you're not needing it, or you can put it on what's it called, battery saving mode, because the battery on your phone is very important when you're traveling, and if you're not using it, turn it on to flight mode. It'll be using like almost half the power, and it lasts almost double the time, depending on what applications you're using, but that's a really good one as well. Anyway, this was really fun making this video, because I really love like trying to make little hacks and things like that when you're traveling. I know these were kind of simple, but maybe they helped. I have so many more, but already this video says it's 20 minutes long, and that's kind of ridiculous because I'm really good at over explaining things, which can be really great and really frustrating at the same time. But thank you for watching this video. I hope it helped you. Let me know if you have any other travel tips down below that maybe I don't know about them already, and maybe they can help us out. But I'm so happy to be here right now, and I will definitely be making more videos because it's gonna happen. I'm in the mood to like just create and share all these fun ideas with the world, so it can help you travel and avoid the silly mistakes that some people can make by accident. Anyway, thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. If you want to keep updated with some of my travels, just go to my Instagram, and you can see there's some posts every now and then that shows you where I'm going, where I'm at. Yeah. Good night or good morning, wherever you are. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. I said the liquor, but it's much too harsh. Chase me down, make it stop.